Hi everyone, welcome back to Best Recapped Movie. Today, we share an action and fantasy movie called Along with the Gods, produced in South Korea in 2017. The film refers to the events after death, in which the main character has to go through the trials of his actions one after another. Spoilers ahead. Somewhere in the city's center, a large building in South Korea has caught fire and is burning in flames. A fireman named Hong jumps out of the building and tries to save a little girl's life. His lifeline burns due to the intense heat, causing him to fall from a height to the ground, and suddenly, his whole life flashes before his eyes, but to his surprise, he gets up. The little girl who survived sprints to her parents. Hong rushes to the girl's family to see if the victim is hurt, but they don't see or answer him. Suddenly, he hears a voice calling his name in the distance and sees two people wearing suits and smiling. Hong tries to tell them to escape the falling debris but soon becomes aware of the firefighters and his surroundings. He sees firefighters rescuing a person who looks exactly like him. The girl's guardian, Chun, tells Hong that he died an honorable death and must be judged in 7 courts over 49 days to be reincarnated, and they are here to help him along the way. Hong looks at himself lying on the ground in doubt. Another guard named Mac tells him their leader awaits them. A circular gate opens, and they lead Hong to it. As he watches his colleagues on his body, his feet slowly lift off the floor. He shouts that he can't die now because he wants to see his mother, but it's too late. He starts moving through the air towards the giant hatch. Third guard Rim attends his funeral and sees Mother Hong staring at his picture. His brother Kim insists they leave, but his mother is still shocked by Hong's death. Hong and the guards arrive at a land where thousands march towards its gates. He meets Rim, the leader of the Guardians, who has helped 47 souls to reincarnate so far. When Rim congratulates his on her good character, he looks away. They enter through the gates of judgment but are transported to a nightmarish place called Killing Mountain, which resembles hell and is filled with fiery lava. Mac is shocked to see it there and immediately questions Hong if he killed anyone in his past life. He denies that he has ever done anything so horrible, and after that Rim explains that even deaths that are indirectly affected are judged. His first trial is violent murder. Hong arrives at a terrifying place where large doors open on the ground, and the image of the judge of that court is shown. There is a pit full of fire, and the people being punished desperately try to climb out of it, but they keep burning in its sea of flames. Prosecutors began the trial by accusing Hong of failing to save one of his late colleagues because they believed he had the chance to help but did not, ultimately leading to his fellow firefighter's death. They ask Hong to suffer in the lava pit for 5 years to atone for his sins, but Rim comes to his aid. He defends Hong by asking for a more thorough investigation of what happened in the incident. He tried to save his friend, but the stone that fell on his leg was heavy, and he could not lift it. That's why his colleague, after realizing the desperate situation, told him to go and save the others. Instead, Hong was able to save the lives of 8 other people. Rim argues that it should be considered when judging a man's heroism. Seeing his courage in helping others, the judge acquires him of this punishment. Passing this court allows him to be transferred to the next court. After that, they sail on a ship in the dark sea and Hong asks them why the 3 guards are helping him and gets curious about it. The Guardians seem to have their plans, as they have made a deal with the King of Hell, Yamara. If they can help the 49 dead souls pass the trials well, they will be rewarded with reincarnation within themselves. They can be reborn in a human body in a new form. On the way, they encounter scary humanoid fishes that drive them away from their ship. They end up at a trial of ease and laziness, where Chun explains all of Hong's travails. She explains that this man has never been lazy and has always helped others. This even means hitting the hives and exposing your team to horrible stings. He cared about the animals and saving them, such as saving 3 cows stuck in the water and even a cat about to fall. The judge was so impressed by Hong's contributions that he ordered prosecutors to immediately overturn his sentences and even erect a statue of him in honor of his good character. However, when she asks him if it was all because of her benevolence or the money, he replies that it was only because of the money, where he is not content to go back to reincarnation and live again. Hearing his answer, the goddess of sloth quickly changes her sentence and tells the prosecutor to sentence him. His punishment is falling into a waterfall, where giant mill-like machines chase and crush all those guilty of laziness. Fortunately, the guards do their best to help Hong, begging the goddess of laziness to look more closely at his life. Hong worked so hard to earn money because he wanted to support his mother, who was sick, and also to pay for his younger brother, who wanted to go to law school. Hong worked so hard that he often neglected his health, and his desire for money was never selfish. After realizing his true motives, Goddess realizes that Hong is innocent because he only wants to help his family and orders the prosecutors to release him. They then cross a razor-bladed forest to appear at the next court, after which the group quickly board a boat that takes them to the next location. Still, before they do, they are chased by many terrifying creatures. Rim and Mac release their weapons and do their best to defend against the creatures. They manage to destroy many of them, but Captain Rim is dragged behind the ship in difficult conditions during the fight. Finally, after helping Rim to board the ship, he destroys a stone pillar with his weapon so that the falling stones prevent the creatures from pursuing them. After they get rid of them, Mac explains that this could only happen because a member of Hong's family died, and his spirit became an Avenger. To dissuade other monsters from following them in the future, Rim decides to blindfold Hong and warns him not to open it for now. Then, he leaves them to discover the reason for the existence of these creatures. He goes to Hong's house and introduces himself to Hong's mother as a friend. His mother is alive, and it is only fair to guess that his brother is dead and turned into a vengeful spirit. An evil spirit tries to run away while Rim quickly chases after him. He tries to stop the ghost using his weapon, but the ghost manages to survive his attacks and escape. Rim is desperately looking for Kim Soo to stop him. He changes his route to a military base where Kim Soo is stationed, and he notices a soldier talking about Soo's running away. Rim disguises himself as an army colonel to discover the truth, summoning the captain and accusing him of killing Kim Soo. The captain, whose face is filled with fear and anxiety, refuses to accept this crime. Still, his face confirms that he is responsible for Soo's death. On the other hand, Hong is interrogated by the goddess of deception, and prosecutors accuse her of writing numerous false letters. In this case, he gave these letters to his colleague's daughter, who died in the fire, and lied to her about her father. The goddess of deception immediately orders the punishment agents to tie up Hong and punish him by cutting out his tongue. Fortunately, Rim can telepathically connect to his team and reason with Hong's actions. Later, it turns out that he also wrote fake letters to his mother and lied about how great his life was and that he had become wealthy. Rim explains that these are all attempts to comfort the people he cares about because his goal with these lies is to keep them from being disappointed in life and continue with their lives. After realizing that Hong did all this to give others a reason to live, the goddess forgives his deception because he never intended to harm. After the trial, Rim lies to Hong and tells him that her mother and brother are alive and living their lives, but he quickly informs Chun and Mac about the truth about Hong's brother. Rim goes back in time to find out what happened the night Soo died, whose friend Won accidentally shoots Kim Soo after hugging him about Hong's death. Soo asks Won to call the captain quickly. He is not breathing when the captain arrives and secretly buries him without anyone noticing. Rim looks at Soo's body and is shocked to realize he is not dead. It forces him to reminisce about his past when his father was buried in a war while still alive. On the other hand, Hong has reached the hell of injustice, where he sees people frozen in ice cubes for years to pay for their crime of not helping others. Fortunately, Hong's career as a firefighter means he won't be judged here, and they'll have to go to court next. During the ride, Chun gets jealous of Hong's memories and wishes to remember her past. She and Mac do not remember anything from the past, and only Rim is aware of his past. Mac tries to stop his other teammate from revealing their limitations. He accidentally informs Hong that his brother is dead and has become a vengeful spirit. After realizing the truth, Hong's soul becomes unstable, and the control of the cable car goes out of control by causing an earthquake. The situation was such that the cable car was about to drop its guards. But Hong can pull himself together at the last moment and help them get through this situation. The three end up in the hell of betrayal, where a beautiful goddess judges it. A place where the punishments are such that people who betray the trust of others are trapped in a mirror and destroyed by breaking the mirror. Fortunately, Hong was an example throughout his life and did not betray anyone. He is allowed to pass this place safely. At the same time, Rim can find the vengeful ghost in a nightclub he attends. He tries to kill the soldier who buried him alive with the captain, by throwing a chandelier, but runs away as soon as he sees Rim. Rim immediately chases Sue and manages to tie him to a tall building with a magic rope as they fight continuously in the air. He tells the vengeful spirit that he must forgive his killers to be reborn, or he will be destroyed forever. However, Sue talks about the harsh conditions he endured while burying him alive. By saying these words, Rim still remembers the circumstances of his father being killed and buried alive. Sue does not tolerate this situation, and his extreme anger creates an explosive shock that throws Rim. On the other hand, after drinking copious amounts of alcohol, one decides to go to Hong's house. Due to his conscience, he throws the map of Sue's burial place into the house and runs away. Mother opens the map and looks at it while shocked. Rim joins the group, and now that Hong knows everything, he begs Rim to help his brother's soul. One can't bear the unintentional murder he committed and commits suicide while Rim watches him from a distance. The vengeful spirit goes to Rim and urges the guard to save him. In return, Sue also cooperates and forgives them from now on. He begs the guard to act as a messenger to speak to one last time. In return, he promises to pass the exams afterward. The vengeful spirit speaks through Rim and tells the soldier he forgives and comforts him for his future life. Meanwhile, Hong has reached the hell of violence and sees a giant hole that everyone must jump through to appear in their court. He falls into a huge canyon and hits a giant rock, and Mac begs him not to slide down. However, Hong slides towards the two and accidentally knocks them to the ground. Mac walks over to the two of them while Hong grabs Chun and tries to save her. He falls from a height just like before his death, preventing her from taking damage. They arrive at the court of violence, and the trial begins, and the prosecutors accuse Hong of beating his brother. This action was particularly unforgivable because his brother Sue suffered from malnutrition due to the family being poor at the time. Hong never sought forgiveness after the fight, ran away from his family, and never returned home. The judge quickly decides to send Hong, who has committed violence against his family, into a pit where he is constantly hit with large rocks as punishment. Rim connects with them again through telepathy and asks Chun to request a joint trial. Mac is against this because if Hong is found guilty in the next trial, all three guardians will lose their powers, and the possibility of reincarnation and rebirth will be removed. However, Chun decides to plead this with the judge as he sees Hong is about to be sentenced, quickly asking him to vacate his sentence and have his conviction tied to the final and current trial. Unfortunately, the guards quickly learn about what happened that night. After seeing his brother kneeling before their mother, Sue woke up and demanded to know what was happening. Hong is with a pillow over his mother's head, and Sue realizes that Hong is planning to kill their mother. He tried to stop his brother immediately, which caused Hong to drop the pillow. Because of this, a fight broke out between them, and Hong continuously punched the boy in anger. Along with Chun and Mac, Hong confesses that his intention was not only to kill his mother but that he wanted to end his and his brother's life after killing her because, at that time, he was very disappointed in their life due to lack of money and his mother's suffering from illness. The only choice he believed could end their suffering was death and nothing else. This is also why he felt so guilty afterward that he had to run away from home and never return. After hearing this, the guardians are disappointed because they realize there is no way for them. At the same time, Rim tries to bring Sue back to his body so that his soul can finally begin the journey to reincarnation. When they arrive at the military camp, Sue is surprised to see his mother. She begs the soldiers to take her to her son's body. The captain sees this, rushes to the woman, and tears up the map of her son's burial place. He pushes his mother, who falls on the ground and passes out. Sue sees his mother being attacked by his killer and is overcome with rage. He quickly transforms into the vengeful spirit he used to be and breaks free from the bond Rim had confined him to. Sue's anger becomes so intense that it engulfs all the soldiers with a huge whirlwind. On the other hand, Hong sinks into a huge volume of sand and Chun tries to save him, but it doesn't work. The vengeful spirit throws things around and creates chaos while Rim tries to stop people from getting killed. Suddenly, a gate opens between the two areas, and luckily, Mac can enter the living world through the portal and stop Sue with one big blow. Rim takes this chance, steps in, and captures him using a magic rope. Meanwhile, Hong's trial begins in the other world, with King Yamera as the case judge. The judge accuses Hong of trying to kill his mother and beating his brother. King of Hell also reveals that Hong's mother knew about her son's attempt to kill her but kept silent and kept the whole ordeal in her heart. The judge concludes that Hong will be punished in this hell forever because he left his mother for 15 years. Suddenly, with a voice that sounded like Hong's mother's voice, the entire realm began to shake. It turns out that Rim used his powers to allow Su to talk to his mother in her sleep, and he apologizes to his mother for his brother. Su explains to his mother that Hong has worked non-stop for 15 years, always to support them, and since that night, he has never returned home because he feels guilty. To his surprise, his mother starts talking and reveals that she forgave her son long ago. She blames herself because she could never provide a good life for her children. Hong hears this and bursts into tears while the king is moved by their performance. King Yamra realizes he can no longer accuse Hong of his crimes, as his mother has forgiven him. He allows Hong to be reincarnated after this trial is over. Hong bows to Chun for her companionship and help and thanks the rest of the guards for helping him. His journey begins with the enlightenment of his soul. On the other hand, Rim has decided to bring So as his 49th reincarnation so that they, too, can be reborn after this mission. Faced with numerous demons and accusations, Rim and Mac go to the enemies to eliminate them so that they can finally meet the King of Yamera. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.